Heyo, this is weird. You guys are seeing actual stuff before artwork, which only means one thing, is that I am finally dipping into one of my drawers of art supplies to use. Because I'm a hoarder and I just buy art supplies saying, I'm gonna do a video on that. And then I get nervous and go back to a comfort medium. So not only am I using a new thing, I'm using technically an old thing because I bought this a year ago. And this trend has died down horrifically. But by the video title, you already know. It's gouache, jelly gouache. And if you're unfamiliar with my history with gouache, it's not good. Oops, I guess I could have just slid it. So a couple years ago, that Himi jelly gouache kind of went viral. And after looking at it and being like, I can't justify that much money on gouache, my least favorite paint medium. This was about a year, just before Father's Day of last year. No, it was tax season because I went with my mom. I was in Five Below and I saw this kit and I thought, for $5.55, how bad could it be? So that's what I'm gonna test it out today if I can open it. There we go. Now, to be fair, I've also never used the Himi gouache ever. So I have no idea what it's about, but I'm gonna swatch it. Oh wait, hang on. It comes with lids. That's already a step up from the Himi gouache because I've only seen this. So now I'm going to painstakingly undo all these and we'll get right to the colors. I actually got the paint colors down. They're, like I said, they're thin. Why are they thin? It's gouache. I fucking hate gouache, but I know how to use it. Like, goddamn. I'm just gonna sit here and complain about it for like 5 minutes and then I'm actually gonna do something about it, you know? Hey yo, so if you're actually watching this, that means that I got this video out on time, so surprise, thank God, because I'm having a hell of a time trying to do everything I need to do for this next week, and I'm like, oh, please let everything go well, and so far everything's going okay. So as I mentioned in the beginning, and I was on call with my partner during like the last bit of it, so I was trying to like sound natural while also recording audio for this, and I think I got away with it. Also, Steph, if you hear your voice, no you don't, I did my best to cut it out. I know Zapdos. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the paint a little bit, because like I said in the beginning, this is a knockoff of the Himi gouache that went viral like, I want to say almost 4 years ago or something like that. Either way, I looked at the palette online and it was like 20 bucks and I'm like, I hate gouache. I'm not going to spend money on paint I'm not going to use. So I just never got it. And then as I mentioned, when I saw this at Five Below, I was like, okay, I can spend less than $10 on a lot of paint because if I hate it, I hate it. And I believe I mentioned this gouache was like $5.55, $5.95. It was less than $6, I can tell you that. And my first impression was when I opened it, there were lids. And I think I mentioned that before. Each little cup had lids, and I was very impressed with that because I don't even think the Himi gouache has lids. And I'm glad that it does because I'm recently seeing videos of people's gouache palettes, like their Himi gouache palettes, where there's mold in the palette. Like when you do the water and then you expose that watered down paint to air spores, like you just get mold. I'm glad that it came with the lids because you can just put the lids on the cups while the lid, which is also the mixing palette, dries. And I'm like, that's pretty damn good. I did like that. What I didn't like is that this entire painting process, I was covered in over 60 bug bites. So if I just stop, it's because I'm literally scratching the hell out of my arms. And you could probably see just how bumpy and red and disgusting my arms look, especially my right arm. Because when I'm outside, yes, I use citronella candles. I have like deep bug spray. They do not leave me alone. But when I'm sitting outside drawing, I have my left arm tucked into my body at the table while I'm sitting, and I draw with my right arm. I'm right-handed. So I have all these fucking bug bites on my arm. And ugh, it was awful. So on top of dealing with that pain, I was also dealing with like other shit, personal shit. Like I thought my boss was gonna give me a key to the restaurant I work at, and I'm not ready for the responsibility of a key. And then there was some work/family drama, like work family, like a couple people there are related or family. drama with that. That was stressing me out. And it was just, ugh. And to top it all off, I did this entire painting in about 4 hours on Monday. This just past Monday. And the entire time I'm doing it, my room smelled like fucking Brussels sprouts. And I was like, why does my fucking bedroom smell like Brussels sprouts? It's stressing me out. Everything was bothering me. I just wanted to sit down and draw Zaro and Dexter as merfolk, which I have the story too. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, no, turns out Zapdos, who's been beeping the entire time, I bought him some Brussels sprouts. No, I didn't buy them. I got them from work. And I left the bag in a garbage can that I never took out. So there was just Brussels sprouts in my room smelling up the place. I took them out and my room smells like 10 times better. So yeah, there was a lot of stress with that. And I just wanted to draw my character and my partner's characters together in mermaid form. And I know I have drawn Urkins as, well, I was gonna say I've drawn Urkins and stuff as mermaids, whatever, in the past. But this month I've been focusing on, what's it called? My merfolk AU. And I kind of thought to myself, wait, Urkins, like, you know, water burning. Why would they be merfolk? And we tied the whole story together, my partner and I, because we got the idea of a character being a seal, because seals are adorable. And the only characters I can think of were Zaro and Dexter, because they're a little heavier. Zaro is a baker, canonly. She likes to bake. And her adopted son, Dexter, has to taste all her sweets. That's just how it works. So in the canon universe, how Zaro, quote unquote, adopted Dexter was that Dexter was a Smeet, which is an Urkin baby, was going to training, but his antennae were too long. So they chopped off his antenna, which is why they're so short. And Zaro was a nurse in the unit that this was happening and just heard this baby screaming and crying in agony and decided this is not happening to this child. And she took him, got in trouble, and escaped the planet. So that kind of ties into the mermaid, whatever, the merfolk, because that part of the story stays consistent in this merfolk AU. But where they ended up becoming seal mermaids is that Dexter is a child, so his human disguise glitches. He gets found out, she picks him up and runs, and in this story, they all live on like a seaside. Like, you ever seen the movie Luca? How they just like live on the ocean with like cliffs and shit? That's kind of how I imagine it, but like partially like a New Jersey style setting. It's weird. Anyway, instead of letting these humans capture her and her son, she ends up jumping off into the water to kill them both. Dramatic, I know. Thunder and Virion, I've drawn Thunder's mermaid design 1,000 times, and then I just redid Virion not too long ago, are both sea witches, and they watched this I guess it's a selfish and self-sacrificing sacrifice? Self-sacrificing sacrifice. And they were like, no, we know what Urkins are. She can't go out with her son like this. So before anything bad could happen, like intense pain on the child, they transformed them both, and now they're merfolk. Since it was a quick magic, they couldn't really propel them as fish, so they're seals, which are mammals, so they have to go up to breathe. But it's okay because Zaro gets to live with her son. And the painting was just super cute. Like, normally I hate children, and trying to draw children the entire time, I'm like, this is just a full-grown man. This is a man. This is just a shrunken man. I'm not good at drawing kids because I don't like kids. Like, drawing teenagers, okay. But drawing children? Not happening. The drawing process wasn't the problem. Let me tell you that the problems came from the paint while I was painting. So first of all, the paint did not mix very well. The way my partner hates it, the way I describe it, the white paint specifically has a cottage cheese-like texture. Like, it's so thick and it has like this, almost kind of looks like you know what cottage cheese looks like. So it has that, but then the rest of the paints, they're smooth, but they just don't blend very well. Like, you need a lot of paint, and maybe I'm just using gouache wrong because I fucking hate gouache. But even on my swatches, they were I was using straight gouache and it was still kind of transparent. Like, it was not opaque at all. I tried like swatching, and like I said, when I tried mixing, it took a while to mix. I got it. And then when I went to actually like start painting, have you ever used, I use the apple barrel acrylics, and I know how to use those paints. I've been using them for years. If you've ever used those paints, you know when you use a dark color and it's thin and it just like leaves no pigment at all, but it leaves those weird paint blobs on the edge of the paintbrush as you're making a brush stroke? It was kind of like that. So I ended up watering them down to basically watercolor paint and just painting with them that way. So I had to thin them down a lot because they were like already thin but pigmented. But I had to thin them down more. I wouldn't say they were bad. I would say they're bad-ish, if that makes sense. Because they basically kind of were. And it was weird, but I got the painting done. And then the background was stressing me out because the background also looks like shit. Because even being, like, with my other gouache, I use, like, a Reeves gouache and then some gouache I got at scrawler box or something. Like that reactivates with water. This one had a very hard time reactivating, which is why I went with like the cell shading on top. So I was like, okay, that's weird. But with the background, like just trying to make like a gradient, like even just thinning out with a dry brush and then reactivating it with water, it did not move at all. It was weird, but I was like, okay, maybe it'll be okay. And it worked out. It's whatever, but it's I like the art, like the liner and the sketch, but the coloring is just I mean, I'll deal with it. It was supposed to be simple anyway because I'm rushing for MerMay, and like I said, it's whatever. So I'm gonna wrap this up because I have some prepping to do. I have to edit this video, but I did want to mention that my Etsy is still 25% off until the end of May, which is only until this Friday, which would be tomorrow. And then after that, starting on Saturday the 1st, all of my Pride stuff is going to be 50% off. And instead of giving your money to big corporations, give it to me, an actual member of the gay community. So I'm gonna get going with that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Link to my Etsy to shop any sales is down below, and in my Instagram to see gel pen fan art, because that's all I love to do now, is also down below. Thanks, and I will see you next week. Bye.